What's up, Broncos country? Listen to this. After starting the season with a convincing victory and a painful loss that still hurts in everyone's chest, here, our Denver Broncos are heading into Week 3 with pressure that shouldn't exist this early in the season. But that's how it is, family. When you wear the orange and blue jersey, every game matters, every snap counts, and every play can define the direction of our season. Did you know the Broncos are entering SoFi Stadium as underdogs?
That's right!
The sportsbooks are giving the Chargers a 2.5-point advantage. But hold on, not what's going to define what happens on the field, right, Broncos country? What matters are the 60 minutes of real football we're going to see on Sunday. Look, I'll be straight with you. This game against Los Angeles already has the look of a decisive one. And it's no exaggeration. With the Chargers starting undefeated at 2-0 and the Broncos needing to recover from that bitter 29-28 loss to Indianapolis in Week 2. This matchup could very well define who's going to lead the race in the AFC West right at the beginning of the season. But before diving deep into this analysis that's going to make you understand why this game is so crucial, let me tell you something. If you're true Broncos country and don't want to miss any play, any analysis, any reaction from our games, hit that subscribe button. Because Denver Broncos family supports each other, and together we celebrate every touchdown, suffer with every fumble, and celebrate every victory like it's our first time. Now, yes, let's get to what really matters, why this game is so special, and why it could be the turning point of our 2025 season. First, let's contextualize where we are. The Denver Broncos started 2025 with high expectations, especially after all the changes that happened in the roster and coaching staff. The fans were hopeful, and rightly so. In Week 1, we showed our work and won convincingly. It was that kind of victory that makes us believe this could be the year of our comeback, but then came Week 2, and man, what a hit. Losing to Indianapolis by 1 point, 29-28, hurt the heart of anyone who bleeds orange and blue. It was one of those losses that stays in your mind, that makes us rethink everything. That makes even the most optimistic question whether we're really ready to fight for the playoffs. And that's exactly why Week 3 against the Chargers becomes this watershed moment. Think about it. If we lose this game, we start 1-2, and then it's over. The pressure becomes a pressure cooker, especially because we'd be losing within our own division to a direct rival who is already establishing themselves as favorites in the AFC West. On the other hand, if we manage to get this victory in Los Angeles, we tie the head-to-head with the Chargers, show that Week 2's loss was just a stumble, and most importantly, we send a clear message to the entire AFC West that the Denver Broncos came to fight as equals with anyone. But let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie, family. The Chargers are 2-0, and that's not by chance. They've had a solid start, controlling games both offensively and defensively. Their defense is allowing few points, and the offense has shown consistency in the first 2 weeks. Meanwhile, at 1-1, we're in that situation where we need to prove we're better than we showed in the loss to Indianapolis. And look, Broncos country, this can be both pressure and extra motivation. Because when the Denver Broncos play with wounded pride, wanting to prove they're better than people think, special things usually happen. What strikes me most about this matchup is the home field factor. Playing at SoFi Stadium is never easy for any visiting team, and the Chargers know how to take advantage of that factor well. Their fans will be excited, especially if they really manage to reach 3-0. But this is where the experience and fight of our players comes in. Speaking of experience, our defense has everything to be the great differential in this game. If there's one thing the Denver Broncos has always known how to do well over the years, it was playing with a tough defense that doesn't give the opponent space to breathe. And against the Chargers, this will be fundamental. The defensive game plan seems pretty clear. Pressure the Chargers' quarterback, not let them establish rhythm in the ground attack, and especially force turnovers. Because if there's one thing that can turn a game around quickly in football, it's interceptions and recovered fumbles. Our defensive line will have to do impeccable work. The Chargers have an offense that likes to work with quick plays, short and intermediate passes, and if we can't pressure the quarterback, he'll have plenty of time to find open receivers. But it's not just the defense that will define this game, right, family? Our offense also needs to show up and show up big. In Week 2, we had brilliant moments offensively, but we also had some crucial failures that cost us dearly. Against the Chargers, there won't be room for error. The offensive line will have quite a challenge ahead. The Chargers' defense is no joke, and if we can't protect our quarterback, it's going to be a very long afternoon in Los Angeles. But I trust the quality of our guys on the line, and especially the adaptability of our offense. One thing that makes me confident is our team's ability to learn from mistakes. That loss to Indianapolis, as painful as it was, may have taught valuable lessons. In football, sometimes you need a hit like that to wake up, to understand where the weak points are and work on them. And seriously, Broncos country, did you see how the team reacted in this week's practices? The intensity was way up there. You can tell everyone got the message. There's no more room for foolishness. Every practice, every repetition, every studied play can make the difference on Sunday. Now let's talk about something that always makes a difference in big games: mentality. And man, if there's one thing I've learned following the Broncos all these years, it's that when this team plays with the right mentality, with that characteristic fight, it's very hard to stop. What I expect to see on Sunday is exactly that. A Denver Broncos playing with pride, wanting to show we deserve respect in the AFC West, and especially with that mentality that each play can be the decisive play, because look at the situation. If we win, we tie with the Chargers in the divisional head-to-head, show we're tough opponents for anyone, and most importantly, gain confidence for the games ahead. If we lose, we start the season in a complicated situation, with double pressure for every following game. That's why I say this is already a decisive game, even though it's only Week 3. In football, especially in a competitive division like the AFC West, every victory counts, every loss weighs. And direct confrontations are even more important. And there's another factor we can't ignore: confidence. A convincing victory against the Chargers could be exactly what we need to take off this season. It could be that moment when everything falls into place, when the team finds its identity, when players who were in doubt start performing at their maximum. On the other hand, a second straight loss, especially to a division rival, can shake structures. It can make players question the system, make the coaching staff rethink strategies, make the fans lose some of the hope they were building. But I'm not even going to think about that, family. Because I believe in this team, I believe in this roster, and especially, I believe in the strength of Broncos country. When we're together, when we believe, special things happen. Let's now talk about technical aspects that could define the game. One of the most important things will be controlling the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. Whoever can impose their rhythm on the front line will have a huge advantage. Our running game needs to work, not just for the yards it can produce, but mainly to control the clock, keep our defense rested, and force the Chargers' defense to respect our ground attack. If they can focus only on stopping our passing game, things get complicated. And speaking of passing game, our receivers will have to be in top form. The Chargers have defensive backs who know how to play, who study opponents well, and who won't make anything easy. Every route has to be perfect. Every catch has to be secure. Every yard after catch can make the difference. But it's not just the offense that needs to be in tune. Our defense will face one of the most balanced offenses in the NFL so far in 2025. The Chargers have options in both passing and running, have playmakers who can decide the game at any moment, and have a play caller who knows how to exploit opponent weaknesses. Our secondary will have to do impeccable work. Can't give easy spaces, can't allow big plays, and especially needs to always be alert for possible turnovers. Because if there's one thing that can turn the game around quickly, it's an interception at the right moment. And our pass rush? Man, this will be fundamental. If we can consistently pressure the Chargers' quarterback, we force him to make quick decisions, increase the chances of error, and give our secondary the help it needs to do its job. Now, I'll say something you might not have thought about: special teams. I know it seems like a detail, but in balanced games like this promises to be, field position makes all the difference. A well-placed punt, an explosive return, a field goal at the right moments, All of this can decide the final result. And speaking of field goals, let's hope we don't need to decide the game on our kicker's leg, right, family? But if we need to, I trust our guys will be prepared. Because these pressure situations are what separate true professionals from the rest. One thing that makes me optimistic for this game is the way our team has been behaving in practices. You can tell that Week 2's loss served as fuel, as extra motivation. The players are focused, the coaching staff is working double, and everyone understood there's no more room for silly mistakes. And there's one more thing. Playing as underdogs can sometimes be liberating. Without the pressure of being favored, without the expectation of winning easily, the team can play more loose, more creative, and especially with less fear of making mistakes. The Chargers, on the other hand, will have the pressure of maintaining their perfect start. Starting 3-0 is any team's goal, and they know a loss here could put the brakes on the momentum they've built. This pressure can work in our favor if we know how to take advantage, but let's not fool ourselves. It's going to be a difficult, disputed game that will probably be decided in the details. That's why every player will have to be at their maximum. Every play will have to be executed with perfection, and every opportunity will have to be seized. Broncos country. I want to know from you, how are you feeling about this game? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Are you anxious? Comment down there and tell me what your expectations are for this matchup that promises to be electrifying. Because one thing I'm sure of, regardless of the result, our team will leave everything on the field. We'll play with the fight and pride that have always characterized the Denver Broncos. We'll fight until the last second. And we'll show everyone why Broncos country is one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. And you know what moves me most about this situation? It's seeing how adversity can unite this family. We are even more. When things are difficult, when the pressure is high, that's when we show what we're made of. That's when the true Broncos country appears. That's why, family, no matter what happens on Sunday, we'll be together. We'll support our team. We'll celebrate every good play. We'll suffer together when things don't go as expected. And we'll celebrate every achievement as if it were the greatest of our lives, because that's what sets us apart from other fan bases. It's this passion, this loyalty, this unconditional love for the Denver Broncos that makes us special. And I'm sure our players feel this energy, feel this support, and it makes all the difference when things get tight. So, get ready, Broncos country, because Sunday is going to be one of those games we remember forever, whether for the result, for the way it was played, or for the emotions we're going to feel. It will be another chapter in the rich tradition of our beloved Denver Broncos, and I'll be here, together with you, cheering, suffering, celebrating, and especially believing that our team has everything to surprise. Because if there's one thing I've learned following the Broncos, it's that when you least expect it, when the situation is most difficult, that's when true champions appear. So what's up? Denver Broncos family, what would you do if you were coach for a day? What would be your strategy for this crucial game? Comment down here, leave a like if you're excited for Sunday, share with that friend who's also Broncos country, and don't forget to hit the bell to not miss any of our videos. Because this is the place where Broncos country meets, where we share emotions, where we intensely live every moment of our team. And soon, there's more content coming, with all the coverage of this big game and much more. Until the next video, and bring on Sunday to show what we're made of. Go Broncos!